Awesome. I'm going to start recording. Sweet.
Perfect.
I need to go live too. I forgot about that. It's the important.
Yeah, that's where I was like, do I go on live as well? No, I can't, because I can't be on live and join. So I'll just do it here. And yeah, I'm happy here.
Yeah, this will be easy once we get it in the group. I gotta find the group first.
On the Wi-Fi.
Select the group.
You mean turn the Wi-Fi back on?
Yeah. This isn't, the VPN's not connecting for some reason. So.
Oh, okay. That's why it wouldn't go on, because of the VPN. Oh.
Hi, Veronica. Is streaming live. Oh, yay, we're live.
I just
make sure we're live on here.
Perfect.
You want me to just do it from your Facebook?
No, because I can't comment in groups because I'm banned. So you can't do it from mine. I know. This is causing so much confusion. Facebook banning me has caused so much.
That's such a pain in the butt. Such a pain in the butt.
Zuckerberg.
All right. All right. Well, we are live on Facebook. I'm seeing our group. Cool. Caitlin's with us. Hi, Caitlin. If you guys are watching, say hello. Veronica's here in Zoom with us. Caitlin's online. There's a few of you here online, but only Caitlin is who I can see. So if you're here, say hello. Tell us where you're coming in from. We're a few minutes late again, but that's okay, because they're always working in our favor, you guys. I have to reframe this. When things start going wrong, I'm like, why is this always happening? I'm like, nope, snap, cancel, clear. It's always working in our favor.
Yeah. Something better is going to fall in its place. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good.
Exactly. Oh, please said hi. Talking to. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, we are super excited to be here, but you know what we have? You know what you're going to look at today instead of our faces, which we know you're going to miss seeing our lovely faces. What you're going to see is a slideshow, because we've got some information to share with you about agua. We're going to talk about some water today. That's what we're here to talk about. Let me just get all this out of the way. Share. Present. Yep. Sticking with us, bearing with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your patience. We love you.
Much appreciated.
Very much appreciated. Okay, here we are. Okay, cool. Awesome. We are going to talk to you about the amazing science of living structured water. That's what we're here to talk about today. So as you can see here, we have our beautiful Conga machine sitting in the back. That's what it looks like, with a nice, beautiful crystal and a pretty faucet. So we're going to talk a little bit about Conga water, but we're going to talk about living water and structured water and hydrogen-rich water. And that is what Conga water is, right? So you learned from us on day one about overcoming limiting beliefs. You learned about improving your relationship with money and learning how to really dream again, right? And then on day two, you learned our 3 pillars to building an online business. And one of our pillars was a conscious business model that we all decided to align with. Does good for ourselves, does good for others, and does good for the planet. And that is this incredible machine right here, which we're going to talk about today. So we figured we'd come into a bonus day and be like, well, maybe people want to learn about the product, right? Because I know if it's me, I'm like, well, I'm not about to go out and start talking to people about something that I don't understand. So Caroline, Callie, and I decided to come on and do a bonus day for you guys all about the benefits of this water. So before we get started, who the heck are we? Many of you probably know who I am. Many of you probably know who Callie is. That's okay. Many of you don't. So we're going to just introduce ourselves really quickly before we get started. So for me, I'm an earth-loving, tree-hugging, unschooling, freedom-fighting, blah, blah, blah. You already heard me say this on day 2, but I'll say it again. World-traveling citizen. I used to be a full-time digital nomad. I used to travel full-time before this pandemic happened. And then we decided to settle and buy 26 acres and start building an off-grid permaculture paradise, preparing ourselves for whatever's coming, y'all. We're prepared, right? We're homesteading. I'm a certified thermographic technician, and I help people find natural and proactive ways of taking care of themselves. And one of my favorite things to talk about is a missing piece in many people's health journey, and that is living structured water, because it was such a missing piece in my health journey. You guys, I was one of those people. I was like this, like if you would have known, like I ate so healthy. I grew a lot of my own food. I worked out and exercised. I meditated. I handled my traumas. I did all these things that you would have thought I would have been this like perfect, as healthiest little person you could have possibly imagined, but I wasn't. I was chronically sick for many years, and I could not quite figure out what was going on. And once I started drinking structured water, I ended up realizing it wasn't even like nobody, like it was my own realization that like, holy shit, I was just severely chronically dehydrated. And I'm pretty sure it all started for me when my youngest daughter, who's now 7, I nursed her until she was about 3 years old, and I would not regret, I don't take that back for anything, but I don't think I was ever able to fully replenish. Like, I like to joke and say that she quite literally sucked everything out of me. And I don't know why I was drinking water, but I wasn't able to get back. And it was like after her birth, like I just slowly went downhill, and I couldn't figure out why I got so sick. I couldn't figure out why I had no energy. I couldn't figure out why I was dizzy all the time and sometimes blurred vision and vertigo so bad that I couldn't even drive my own car. Like, why was I experiencing that when I was doing all of these things right? Start drinking structured water, and I started feeling better, and my energy came back, and I no longer had these blood sugar issues or some of these things that were happening. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I have to go tell the world about this, right? And so that's what I do. I talk to people about this water. I think it's amazing. I think it's truly incredible. We all have different experiences. So just because that's my experience doesn't mean that's what your experience will be, but I will never be able to shut my mouth about this water because it has seriously changed my life so much. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm sure you guys know, many of you probably know Caroline or Callie. And I have been so incredibly blessed to actually meet her in real life, which has been a blessing. Biba and I were friends on social media for like years. And anyway, she introduced me to Callie's, like, her story, and come to find out she lives a freaking hour from me. I was like, shut up, that's so cool. So she ended up coming over and and like I had knew just small snippets of her story, and she actually told me her story in my own living room, which is not even a living room, it's a camper, but like sitting at a table, and she's telling me the story, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like crying. So she has an incredible story about her son, and I'll let her explain more about who she is. But, like I said, many of you know who Callie is. Put it in the comments if you know who Callie. Show Callie some love in the comments. If you're friends with
please.
her, share her some love. She's here to share with us today, even though she's brand new at this. She's one of these people that she has to look into things. She has to understand them a little bit before she, like me, like I'm not going to go out and tell somebody something if I don't truly understand it and believe it myself. And so she's been doing her research. So she may have only been drinking the water for a couple of weeks, but she knows, at least a little bit about this to be able to come on and talk to you guys about some of the stuff she has researched. So I'm going to mute myself, and Callie, you're up.
Hi everyone. Those of you that don't know me, I will read my little snippet there. I'm a hope dealing, dope healing mother of 2 unschooled now young men. I'm a published author. I was published in 2017. I'm a veteran oncology mum, and I now work with plant medicines, energy and breath. And in 2014, after my son was diagnosed with cancer twice, he was given 3 days to live, and I saved his life with cannabis. He was deemed a miracle. They'd never seen this before. Couldn't tell them what I'd done. Obviously, at the time, he was a child. But I have since then become quite a revered plant medicine practitioner and life coach and seasoned public speaker. I've spoken in front of millions of people, and yet I am a little bit nervous here today, if I'm not going to lie. It's been a while since I've spoken in front of a lot of people, so thank you so much everyone for coming and supporting me. I now deal a lot with parents and patients, people mainly who are dealing with cancer, mainly terminal cancer patients. That's my main my main client base, I guess, if you want to call it. But I do work with other people with autism, Tourette's, MS, fibromyalgia, arthritis, any ailment, you name it, I have worked with it. And I work with it with cannabis mainly. But in regards to Kangen water, although I've only been drinking it for a couple of weeks, people who follow me on social media will have seen that I have not been this excited about something since I discovered cannabis and what cannabis can do. And this water, honestly, I feel that this is on par with what cannabis can do. It's just another tool. Just as like cannabis is a tool, this is another tool, but it's something that is vital to our health and vital to our living is water, so, and it's not illegal. So I feel so wonderful to be able to talk about something and get so passionate about something that is not going to get me in trouble with the law. So I'm really, really pleased to be here to offer as much guidance as I possibly can and to learn myself about this water, because I am very new to this, but I do know a lot about health, and I know what water can do for us when it's good water. And like Louise, I meditate, I do yoga, I don't eat things I shouldn't be eating. I went on a 30-day cleanse not that long ago, and I got really good results. I was feeling great, but there was just something that wasn't right. There was the final jigsaw piece, and I realized that it was my water. And even in this last 2 weeks, my cellulite has gone down, my waist has gone down, I had a lump in my neck that's not there anymore. I feel more energized. I'm finally getting hydrated. I can feel it. Like you, Louise, I'm not having the vertigo, I'm not getting dizzy, I'm not having the feeling like I'm about to pass out when I know it's dehydration. I haven't had any of that. So yeah, I'm super excited to come and share what I know and to learn a lot more from Louise as well. So I'm going to start off with the slides, and forgive me if I get anything wrong, or forgive me if I kind of stumble a little bit. I know Louise is there to help me. This is my first webinar about this, but I'm going to give it my absolute best. So if there's any questions, please do write in the chat and in the comments. So if there is magic on this planet, then it is contained in water. I would have to agree with that. You know, water is life, and our bodies are 70% water. We are mainly water. And so it's absolutely essential to our health, secondary to air, you know, is we need it. We can only go 3 days without water and then we'll die. And so water is such an integral part of us and who we are in our lives. And so it's really important that water is clean, you know, and it can actually nourish us and help our bodies heal, rather than doing the opposite, which is what a lot of tap water will do, which is actually cause us to become sick. Because, you know, because we're so much water, all of the water that goes into us becomes us and you know, flows through every single cell in our body and everything. So it's really important that our water source is absolutely clean. You want to go on to the next one? Thank you. So as we know, and this is one of the main reasons why I was absolutely terrified of drinking water. Anybody that knows and follows me on social media will know that I have never drunk enough water, and a lot of it was because I knew what was in there. And I've spent hundreds and hundreds of pounds over the years on many filters, and it's never given me that peace of mind. I've always been like, kind of I know what's in there, but I know that I needed water, right? So it's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So we know that tap water contains neurotoxins and carcinogens. We know that plastic water contains, you know, leach hormone disrupting chemicals and carcinogens into our bodies, especially if we leave them in our car and they get warm. The BP, like the BPAs, they go straight into the water, and they're actually highly linked with breast cancer, especially, but we know they're in there. And reverse osmosis is something I actually looked into years ago and discovered that it was dead water, and it's actually, you've lost everything, and it actually makes it very acidic. So if we're trying to go for an alkaline body because we've got dis-ease, drinking acidic water is only going to cause acidosis further. So the water that's meant to be healing us is actually, you know, making us sick. So it's very important to have a look into this. So natural alkaline hydrogen rich water. So I actually wrote a post about this the other day. There are a handful of places in the world where naturally alkaline hydrogen rich water has been found, and they are located near areas of naturally hydrodynamic or geothermal activity, where the water is naturally charged by the earth, i.e. it's alive. We're alive. We need to drink things that are alive. Dead water is just going to go through our bodies and strip us all of the minerals and things like this. So live living water is so incredibly important. And of course, if you can't get to any one of these 7 places in the world, you know, Lourdes in France would be the nearest ones to the UK. But if you can't get over there and collect the water, then, you know, what else can you do? How else can you get microclustered, hydrogen-rich and alkaline, mineral-rich water? And really the answer is with one of these machines. So Japanese technology has created a process that gives us water with the same properties. So we can literally mimic this water that has, if anybody read my post, they'll see that I spoke about a bottle of sacred water that my mum had, holy water, and it was the water from Lourdes, and she was so protective of this water because of the properties that it had. I mean, it was going to do her no good sat in a little bottle, really, you know, but she was adamant I wasn't to touch this water. And I realized that it's the same, it has the same properties as the water we get from the Kangen machine. So it's electrolyzed reduced water, so ERW rather than NRW, which is naturally reduced water, also called H2 water because of increased molecular hydrogen content. So this is one of actually the most exciting things for me. It's not so much the pH levels that we can that we can change, although that's really, really exciting that the machine does that. But it's the hydrogen rich microcluster molecules that can get deep into our cells that really, really excite me about this machine. So clinical studies and peer-reviewed research found that ERW and H2 water was an effective therapy for many serious health conditions such as eczema, psoriasis, heart conditions, brain conditions, inflammation, autoimmunity, digestive problems, neurological conditions, and diabetes related conditions. So how does it work? So basically there is 8 plates. I have the K8 because it has the most amount of plates, and so to me it just makes more sense to get the machine with the best that can give us the best amount of water and the best quality water out of it. So there is 8 plates in there that are platinum coated titanium plates. Acidic minerals go through the secondary hose. So there's 2 hoses, one out the top and one out the bottom, and the alkalized water comes through the primary hose. Now, there is zero waste because you can actually use these waters for various things. You don't have to waste any of the water. The water that comes out of the acidic hose can also be used for other things such as watering your plants, or, you know, for other things like cleaning. And the lists are endless of what can be used, this machine, the water that it produces, it can be used for. We haven't utilized the machine as best we could yet. We are being a little bit lazy, or I'm quite busy at the moment, but once we start like ditching the chemicals and the detergents and all of the things like this, we're really going to start using the machine as to exactly what it can give us. So at the moment we're not even using it to its full capacity, and already it's blowing my mind. So now over to you, Louise, I think.
Whoops. That always happens at least one time. It's okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's all good.
Okay. So yeah. So cool. Awesome. Thank you so much, Callie. Yes, you're a natural, and yes, you know so much more than you think you know, I think. Which I think it's amazing. So thank you. And yes, so the primary properties of this water that Callie just told you about, which is ERW, right? Electrolyzed produced water. That's what you can refer to this as. That's what you can look up if you're going to look up something on PubMed, Google research, whatever it is. Look up electrolyzed produced water. That's the scientific term for this type of water. So you get the same exact properties, right? The primary properties of this water are microclustering for superior hydration, just like that water that she just told you about, the NRW water. It's alkalized from naturally occurring minerals. We're not adding anything in, which we'll talk about the difference between that in just a minute. And it's the dissolved molecular hydrogen, which same thing as Callie. For me, this is the most, I'm like, this is the most amazing part of the machine. Like, we have active molecular hydrogen within our water that we get to consume with every single sip. And that's just amazing because molecular hydrogen is an antioxidant. And we'll talk about that in just a second as well. But what we're going to go into is the 3 major causes of illness. And these 3 major causes of illness are dehydration, which start like the hydration of your cell is quite possibly, or quite literally, the most important thing of your body, right? Dehydration. Then you have, and most people are dealing with some sort of dehydration, by the way. Acidity, also really important. Like, we know that, you know, disease cannot thrive in an alkaline environment, only in an acidic environment. So it makes more sense to want to go more alkaline, right? And then inflammation, which we know is the big bad guy in disease as well. Although we know it's also like inflammation is there to help our bodies protect it, and you know, not having a little bit of inflammation is not necessarily bad, but when it's excessive, and that's when it becomes a problem. And most people are, or a lot of people are dealing with excessive inflammation as well. Don't mind my rooster either. He just likes to hang out when I'm on Zoom every time, never fails. It's like he knows I'm on a Zoom call and he comes over like, come cock-a-doodle-doo. But I'm going to talk to you guys about dehydration for a second. And I think that this is like the perfect thing for me to talk about because I dealt with this, right? I dealt with this for many years. I was chronically and I was severely dehydrated, even though I was drinking water. Now, was I drinking enough water, as much water as I should be? I don't know. I really don't know, because regardless, I wasn't really absorbing this water the way I should be anyways, because I was drinking water and I wasn't hydrating myself. And so dehydration is so super important. There's actually a book called You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty. It's called, actually, the title is Your Body's Many Cries for Water. And the subtitle is You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty. And I think there's even like a subtitle that says something like "Stop treating thirst with medication" or something like that. But it's from a doctor that goes on to talk about how the hydration of your cell is like literally the most important thing in your body. Like if your cell is not hydrated, your cell does not work properly, and then all these other things will start going wrong in your body that you may not even know are related to dehydration. I had no idea that my blood sugar issues once I got hydrated went away, and again, I'm not saying this water cured my blood sugar issues, but I'm just saying, like, from my personal experience, like I had no idea that would be completely related to dehydration. Like, it's so crazy. Like certain things we might recognize, like, oh, dizziness. Okay. We might be like, oh, that's dehydration, but there's so many other things that many people don't even know. Say Wendy's saying it's crazy how many diseases originate from chronic dehydration. Yes, Wendy. And Wendy's reading this book right now. So I'm going to read Wendy's comments because she's blown away by this book as well. If you have a chance to get this book into your life, you should get it. It's called Your Body's Mini Cries for Water. You Are Not Sick, You're Thirsty. It's a really, really good book. So anyways, we're going to talk about dehydration and how this water can help us overcome dehydration. So we're going to talk about a term called microclustering. So microclustering is basically just like a simplified term for people to be able to understand, because there's actually a lot that goes into this, but for like simple terms, and this is kind of how I had to learn this, because for me, when things are too overwhelming, I have to have it broken down into like, digestible information. So this is digestible information for you to understand microclustering. When you have water, most water that most people are drinking is dead water. And we say dead water. What I mean with dead water is actually water's not meant to be stagnant. Water's not meant to stay still. Water's meant to move. It's meant to flow. It's actually meant to it's constantly moving in and out, doing this and going up and down and through things, right? When you put it in a bottle, it's stagnant, it's dead. When you put it in a municipal holding tank, it's stagnant, it's dead, right? It's not meant to be like that. And what happens when it becomes dead is it holds a positive charge to it. And the oxygen molecule from that H2O molecule will hold a slightly positive charge. And what happens is it attracts all these other molecules to it. And what happens is you end up with these huge, large amount of clusters with a ton of molecules that are all collected together. So as you can see on the left picture, that's like a regular dead water molecule cluster size, anywhere from 15 to 20 clusters of molecules per cluster. It limits the absorption in your body because your cell only has this tiny little aquaporin that it can absorb water from, where the process of osmosis can occur is this tiny little aquaporin on your cell. So if you have this, imagine like a big clump of grapes and this little tiny hole that you're trying to shove the entire clump of grapes in at one time. And it's not going to make it in very well, right? Like this big cluster of grapes is not going to go in this tiny little hole, which is why if you were to take a bottle of dead water or a thing of dead water and to chug, at the end of that chug, you're going to have a stomach ache. You're going to feel bloated. You're going to feel like it's sloshing around in your stomach. And that's because it quite literally is sloshing around in your stomach. It's not going into the aquaporin of your cell. It's not absorbing into your body, and your body is peeing it out before you even use it. That's what happens when you have dead water. When you put this water through this electrolysis process in the machine with those plates that Callie was talking about, as it runs over these plates that hold an electrical charge, what happens is it breaks up it gives it a negative charge, right? Negative ions. You can think of it this way as well. But also that negative charge repels those molecules from each other instead of attracting them. So then you take your entire bundle of grapes and you kind of like separate them. And then maybe like 1 or 2 or 5 at a time are trying to make it into this aquaporin, and it's going to get in much more efficiently. That's how we're able to hydrate your body up to 6 times faster. Another way you can kind of picture it in your mind is imagine the cells of your body like a chain link fence, right? And you've got these big, huge tennis balls, and you're trying to chuck these tennis balls through the chain link fence. How many are going to make it through? Not very many, right? Unless you take it and you chuck it really hard, it's not going through. But if you take these tennis balls and you break them up to golf balls, how many of those golf balls are going to make it through the chain link fence? A lot more, right? A lot more. That's what's happening when you have microclustered water. That's what's happening when you're drinking either naturally reduced water in one of those 7 places of the world, or electrolyzed reduced water, which is the same mimicked water that you're going to find from one of our Congo machines. So that's dehydration and how our water can help with people who are chronically dehydrated.
There we go. So I'm going to talk about acidity. This is something that I work with on a regular because cancer really does thrive in an acidic environment. And so one of my main things when I'm working with people is really trying to get them to understand that, yes, cannabis is amazing, but it can only do so much. We have to get to the root cause of issues. And one of those is the acidity that is in the person's body at the time. So I'm going to talk a little bit about acidity and how this machine can really help reduce that within the body. So you've got alkalized versus alkaline. I'm not 100% on this at the moment, but alkaline water basically is produced by additives. So you can get all this alkaline water in the shops, and it's usually things like bicarbonate of soda or other things that they've put in there to kind of stabilize it and change it and everything. Whereas the alkalized water is produced by electrolysis, concentrating the alkaline minerals in an ionizing process. So it's clean. There's nothing added. There's nothing there. When you start adding things into your water and you take them on, obviously they start to deposit in your body, and depositing all of these things can actually, build up within the body and cause issues in themselves. So using this machine to get alkalized water, you're just using electrolysis. So you're just using electricity. So there is nothing there added. It's breaking up the water and making the water as alkalized as it can possibly be without any additives.
Yeah. Can I just add something really quickly on this?
Yes, please do.
This picture right here, I want to just be able to explain to you guys what's happening here. So when Callie was talking and showing you like the electrolysis process, how there's 8 plates inside the machine, or depending on which machine you get, depends on how many plates. We both have the K8, so we talk about that. But there's 4 of those plates will be negatively charged and 4 of them will be positively charged, and they actually alternate. So you can see positive, negative, positive, negative. As the water runs over the plates, it does a little motion like this, right? And the negatively charged plates, what they do is they actually attract to them the alkali compounds that are in the water. So you have things like magnesium, sodium, potassium, calcium. These are all alkali compounds that are in the water. Those all become attracted to the negatively charged plates, and the water that comes out of the hose on the top is all the water from the negatively charged plates. When you have the positively charged plates, what happens is it attracts to it the acidic compounds in the water. So the acidic water is what's coming out the bottom hose. So that's just so you guys know, that's how this is happening. That's how you're getting alkalized water, is because these minerals that are in the water that are alkaline, that a lot of the water bottle companies are actually adding to water, we're not adding it. We're just literally concentrating it at the cathode. So these, scientifically, they're called anodes, cathodes, the negatively charged, positively charged. At the cathode, we're concentrating the alkali compounds. That's why our water is full of these really good alkaline minerals, and we're not having to add anything in. We're not adding synthetic minerals back in. We're just using the minerals that are already there, and we're using it in a concentrated form. So I just wanted to add that in just so people could see what that picture was.
Thank you. And obviously, with it being microclustered as well, we're taking the natural occurring minerals that are already in the water source, and we're actually able to get them into the cells. We're actually able to get them in there where they need to go, rather than just, brushing over the top. And like Louise said, we're just drinking it and it goes straight through us. So why we shouldn't be drinking alkaline water. So alkaline water contains additives, as we said, calcium or baking soda, that can build up in the body and cause problems, alkalosis, kidney or heart conditions. All of these things can build up in our organs, especially our processing organs, such as our kidneys. Carcinogenic chemicals in plastic leach into the water and can disrupt hormones and cause cancer. So I'm forever telling people not to have plastic bottles, and especially don't leave them in your car and all of these things. The more we can get away from plastic. And of course, the environmental impact of single-use plastics is absolutely huge. It goes in a landfill, and it's going to be in a landfill for hundreds and hundreds of years. Long after we're gone, the plastic bottles that we're drinking from now are going to still be there and leaching into the earth and just causing all kinds of havoc. And also the cost of buying alkaline water is considerable. So yeah, a typical price for a case of alkaline water is $30. That's around about £25. So I've been into the supermarkets here, and I've seen the huge array of all these different alkaline waters that are being advertised everywhere, and they are really pricey. And I've looked at the ingredients and I've gone like, no, I'm good. I can just get it all from this machine using my tap water that's already there, and not having to add any more plastics or consume anything, because in microplastics. And also a lot of these filters, these other filters like your Brita filters or Other filters that they have in these health food stores, they're all made out of plastic. They are all leaching microplastics into our bodies. And I think there was some research recently that said, you know, there's so much microplastics inside of our bodies now. It's insane, not to mention the amount that's in our seas and in our animals. And we need to get away from plastic. So yeah, that's just one reason why to get away from alkaline water. So distilled or reverse osmosis water is demineralized and acidic. So years ago, I met a guy when my son had just had his second bone marrow transplant. I met a guy who had a distiller in every room, like literally every window where there could be water being collected. He had these huge distillers, and he saved his own son's life after his son was given a pretty poor prognosis. But he didn't use cannabis. He used diet, water, hyperbaric chambers, all of these different things. And he had all these distillers everywhere. And he was showing me the equipment. And then he was showing me, you mustn't drink this though. Distilled water is dead. It's highly acidic. You mustn't drink it. He then had to go and put it in another machine. He then had to go and put it in another machine. Then he went and did something else with it. It was like all of these machines that he had just to produce the same water that we can get out of this all-in-one machine. So I've known for a long time just how bad distilled water is and things like that, and how dead it is. I almost spent hundreds and hundreds of pounds getting a machine plugged into my house until I realized that I really shouldn't. So research published by WHO, neither me nor Louise, we're not great fans of WHO, but you know, sometimes there is a lot of good information that comes from them, indicates drinking demineralized water may be a risk factor in serious health concerns, including hypertension, coronary heart disease, ulcers, bone fractures, gastritis, anemia, motor neuron disease, and some cancers. Bone fractures especially is because if your water is dead, guess where the water is going to take the minerals from? If you're not putting if the minerals aren't already in the water, that water is going to flow through your body and it's going to pick up minerals as it goes. It's going to take them from your bones and from your teeth. So it's really important not to drink distilled or reverse osmosis water without doing a plethora of other things to it. Is inflammation me too, or is that you? No, that's you.
I was muted. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's such good information. And that's so cool that you got to experience that guy's his water shop or whatever he was doing. So yeah, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about inflammation, because this is another one, like we talked about. You know, we know that inflammation to some degree is necessary for our bodies, and we all, you know, it can help us heal in a lot of ways. But we also know that it's very excessive in our world. And I want to say our country, but it's not just our country. I've been around the world. I've been to many different countries, and you guys, like, we are an inflamed world. Like, diet is horrible all around the world. One of the worst places I ever went, I thought India was like the best, going to have the most healthiest food. No, they're loaded with sugar, and diabetes is crazy over there. Like, and inflammation is just running rampant through the world. So we need to be able to do things that we can reduce inflammation. This water also can help with inflammation, and I'm going to show you how, and I'm going to show you why. So back to that word, active molecular hydrogen. I don't know about y'all, but you can put it in the comments. How many of you know what molecular hydrogen is? How many of you heard of molecular hydrogen before you heard about this type of water? I knew about hydrogen, but molecular hydrogen, right? Yeah, like hydrogen, I'm like, yeah, of course we all know hydrogen. I did not know much about molecular hydrogen. I'm checking the chat to see if anyone here has any comments. But here's the thing. Our environment, it doesn't matter how, like, it doesn't matter if you want to come out and live in the woods and you want to live away from everybody and you're going to try to protect yourself. I mean, like, there's environmental pollutants in the air. They're spraying our airs in the water from runoff, and the food and drugs that cause cellular damage, aging, inflammation, and it all sets the stage for disease. It all sets the stage for, it doesn't set us up to be healthy. It sets us up for failure, to be honest with you. So it's our responsibility to have to counteract some of that stuff, right? And so free radicals, we know, cause aging and damage to DNA. We don't want damaged DNA. We want our DNA to be protected, right? Antioxidants will counteract those free radicals within our bodies, and they will protect the DNA and nourish your immune system. So we want more antioxidants, right? And most of you probably already know this, and you're like, why are you telling me this? Well, I'm telling you this because molecular hydrogen is the most potent and the smallest antioxidant that exists in the world, meaning it can actually get to places that other antioxidants can't in your cell, like deeper down, because of how small it is. It can cross the blood-brain barrier, which is amazing, which is why so many people, there's actually a video in our Facebook group, Kangen Water Collective. If you're not in there yet, you should get in there. I can't remember the name of the doctor. Claire always says it. I think it's Dr. Berry something. But she actually talks about brain inflammation and how Kangen water is so good. So I'm gonna, if Claire, if you're watching this, if you can put that in the comments of what the name of that doctor, because I can't remember right now. But anyways, molecular hydrogen is an antioxidant. Molecular hydrogen does protect our bodies against free radicals that cause damage. It provides neuroprotection for our body. I mean, there's so many benefits for having active molecular hydrogen, and we get to drink this stuff in our water every single day, which is like amazing, right? Like, it doesn't mean that you can stop eating healthy. It doesn't mean you can just drink Kangen water and then go to McDonald's every day. Like, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. This is just a small piece of the puzzle. You still have to do other things. You still have to eat healthy. You got to eat your vegetables. You got to eat your fruit. You got to be healthy. But it's so good to know that you can also drink your antioxidants in your water, which is pretty awesome. So electrolyzed reduced water. Oh, I think I just said all this, but electrolyzed reduced water is loaded with molecular hydrogen, which has been scientifically studied and found to selectively scavenge for and eliminate free radicals that cause damage to your cells, resulting in inflammation and illness. And cancer is in there because, I mean, that's just another disease, right? But this is a part of it. When you have damaged DNA that replicates, we end up with disease and we end up with illness. And sometimes that can come in the form of cancer. And one of the reasons that we're so blessed to talk with Callie here is because she's been through that. She's been down that road with her son. You guys, I cannot imagine what she's been through, literally walking through that illness with her son, where he was literally given 3 days to live. You know, like, it's just insane to think about all of her understanding of all this. So we're really blessed to be able to hear from her today. So just I want to show you these before and after pictures, because like I mentioned in the beginning, I'm a thermographic technician. Many of you probably have no idea what that is, and that's okay, but many of you maybe do, because it is getting more and more well known in the communities, and especially in the health-minded communities. But yeah, we do thermal imaging, and these are before pictures when I got my Kangen machine in February of 2020. Yep. And so before I got my machine, I decided to have one of the technicians take images of me, because I wanted to know if I was going to experience any differences. And if you look at the colors up here, the white is the hottest. So anything that's white is really hot, and then red, and the colors just go down from here. So if you have anything that's black, it's just really cold. And so you can actually look here. I have quite a bit of inflammation going on here. This is just showing my abdomen. So these are like the sides of my body. And then this is actually the front of my abdomen. And you can see after 1 year of drinking this water, you can see the reduced inflammation within my body. Do I have some inflammation still in there? Yep, I'm sure we all do. But look at the change in 1 year. Like, that is incredible. I did nothing different, you guys, other than just start drinking this water. I still ate the same. I did everything the same. I didn't do anything different. So you can see right there, when I started feeling the difference of this water, I started knowing, I was like, oh my gosh, my energy's back and blah, blah, blah. And like I said, I wasn't dizzy anymore. And I started noticing all these other things. I noticed I hadn't had any blood sugar drop. And I used to have these blood sugar issues where I would just drop all of a sudden. And then I would be like, oh, and I would shove my face full of food because I'd feel like I was starving. And then I would like get, this used to happen all the time. And because I'd be like this, and shaking. And then I'd eat like you'd think, like, where is she putting all this? I would just shove my face. And then what would happen is I'd get super tired, and then all of a sudden my body would crash, and I'd be like, oh, I don't feel good. And then I'd have to go lay down. And and I started noticing that wasn't happening anymore. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, there's a lot of things that are starting to feel better. Then I saw the images and I was like, okay, like, that's when I knew I couldn't keep my mouth shut about this water, because I felt it. And now I was able to see it in my body. Like, that was how much inflammation was reduced in my body. So anyways, I just think it's powerful to show you that. And this is your part or my part? I don't remember.
Yours. I'm not on there until 22. Okay.
We're funny, you guys. We literally were talking like 2 minutes before we came on. We're like, okay, who's doing what part? So but it's awesome, because the good thing is that we literally, like, we already have like researched and done, like, we know what we're talking about, so we can do that, right? Like, it's awesome. So NRW versus ERW. That's kind of what Callie talked about earlier. NRW is naturally reduced water. That's where you're going to find one of those 7 places in the world. One of them is Norderney, Germany. One of them is Lourdes, France. One of them is Tecate, Mexico. One of them is in Japan. Like, there's 7 or 8 places in the world where you can find structured water exists in nature in all different places. Like you can actually, a water that's moving and flowing like is structured water in a sense, right? But like hydrogen rich structured water, that's where we're really looking for this NRW, and that's where we can find it in those 8 places. So scientists actually took water from Nord, Germany, which is the NRW, and then they compared it to ERW from an ionizing machine and found that they were both effective in treating these oxidative stress related diseases. And that is because of the molecular hydrogen, because of the active molecular hydrogen we just talked about. So although they are slightly different, right? One is found in nature, which in my opinion is always, anything in nature is going to be best, right? I always tell people, look, if you can get this water naturally and don't have to pay for it, go do that. That is the best option. But if you can't, or if it's not convenient for you, because I know for me, if it's not convenient, I won't do it. Convenience is also a big part of it if you can get it in your kitchen sink. And we always have a joke, actually, Wendy, we used to joke around, and Wendy, I think, is watching this. We used to joke around and say, look, we can't bring you to Lourdes, France, or Lourdes, France, or Nord, Germany, but we can bring that water to your kitchen sink. And that's true. We can bring the properties of that water directly to you, even though we can't bring you to the places where it exists in nature. So people ask, is it safe to consume water that has been electrolytically reduced? And the answer to that question is absolutely. Absolutely. Electrolyzed reduced water has been scientifically studied more than any other water on the planet. There are so many studies, hundreds of peer-reviewed and double-blind studies on PubMed, Google Scholar, NIH, tons of them. We have lots of them in our Facebook group. Again, if you're not in Kangen Water Collective, go get in that group. This group, Building Life of Freedom, is more, we're talking about the business, but go get into the water group because there's tons of information and education over there. It is a certified medical grade device used in Japan and Australia, and it's used in numerous Japanese hospitals. I think the last time I heard, it's like 1 in 3 hospitals in Japan owns or has a Kangen machine. They leading doctors prescribe ERW to their patients as treatment, including the co-founder of the colonoscopy. His name is Dr. Hiromi Shinomi or something like that. I always say it wrong. But he actually, and there's also, again, in our Kangen Water group, there's a video where he shows before and after pictures of the colon and how there's all these feces that are still stuck up at the colon, even though people are eliminating, they weren't getting it all out, and it was stuck to their colon. And he put them on like a 3-month of Kangen water, and they went back in and examined, and he was like, boom, gone. No more feces stuck to your colon. Like just really amazing stuff, And electrolyzed reduced water we already talked about that, mimics a natural process called NRW. So yes, it is absolutely safe to consume electrolyzed reduced water, 100%.
Amazing. No, it's me. I just want to add a little bit, actually, that when I was in Mexico, I ended up in the ER because I thought I was dying. Actually, I thought my cyst had burst on my right hand side, but it turns out I actually have colitis. And the actual doctor said to me, you are packed full of feces and gas. And I was like, oh, so I'm full of hot air and shit. Great. This is great. But I have struggled forever. And it's obviously because I've been chronically dehydrated. My colon is also chronically dehydrated. And I have noticed since drinking the water, without too much information, but I'm feeling like I'm getting cleared out. I'm more is coming out of me than is going in right now. And I'm like, okay, this is great, because I'm noticing I'm not getting the pain in my colon like I was getting. That's kind of really subsided. So it's really, really interesting, and we're looking at kind of health things that we can deal with this water. And also quickly, about cancer, especially. So cancer develops because our cells have to go through a replication process. And firstly, they use sugar, glycolysis. Then they go on to use oxygen. If there isn't enough oxygen on a cellular level, then our cells can't replicate as they're meant to. So they go back to using sugar, and that's when cancer starts to develop. So it's really important to get these, to get oxygen and hydrogen things really deep into the cell, so that we can really prevent these kind of things from happening and give our cells the right environment that they need to replicate in an order that they're meant to, so that they're not having to find another way. So, and also just kind of touch upon what Louise said about we do still need to do the right things. We do still need to eat well. We do still need to look after ourselves. As with cannabis, as I tell people all the time, it is merely a tool. You cannot try and heal yourself with one hand while you are trying to poison yourself with the other. You will do nothing but maintain at best, and you'll end up on this wheel of going round and round and round. Why aren't you getting healthy? Because we have to come at it from every single angle, and that includes our water and our food and our exercise and our breath and everything. So this is a wonderful tool to really kind of get everything in your toolbox. So the actual people have asked me this as well. Does the Kangen machine actually, filter out fluoride? It doesn't filter out fluoride or heavy metals, I believe. But if you come in with us and on our team, what happens is you get a pre-filter, and the pre-filter does actually filter out all of the fluoride and the heavy metals and everything else that shouldn't be in there before it even goes into the machine, which then hits another filter and gets out the rest of everything else. So it's like, it's double filtered, and we use in our pre-filter, it's the coconut shell carbon, so that removes chlorine, pesticides. What are VOCs? Can you remind me?
Just more toxins. I don't know what it stands
Okay.
for. There's a long word, I think, but I'm not sure.
We can look into that. And a compression disc, which filters out the microplastics and the sediments. So obviously that's incredibly important, the microplastics. And then activated alumina, which absorbs contaminants, including fluoride. So, and these pre-filters, people have said to me, oh, well, I suppose that's even more money. And it's like, actually, it's not. It's about 20 quid. It's going to cost about 20 quid every 6 months or so. Okay, it's volatile organic compounds. Thank you very much, Jessie. That's what that stands for. He's my little Google on tap there. Okay, thank you. It's a large group of chemicals that are found in many products we use to build and maintain our homes. Okay, we don't want to be drinking those. So this pre-filter is absolutely wonderful. It really, really is. It really then does put your peace of mind, like, you know, it really does put everything together. So that's the pre-filter. And we have a testimonial here. So obviously I ask for testimonials all the time when I work with my people that are coming to me for cannabis and other plant medicines. And the testimonials are so powerful, like testimonials that I've had over the years of people that no longer have cancer, or, you know, have lived a really long, healthy life, or, you know, are going to get to see their children grow up. It's incredible. So testimonials from this are so important as well, because the proof is in the pudding, right? You know, we can look at research, we can watch videos, but when we really hear it from a human being who has experienced this, it just hits us home more, because we can really relate to people. So I'm going to read out her testimonial. Her name's Noelle Foster, and she said, when I started my Kangen journey 2 years ago, I was chronically dehydrated. And I think we can see in the picture above just how chronically dehydrated, you know, the bags under the eyes, the dark circles, you know, we can see it in ourselves. No matter how much I drank, my cells were just not quenched. I can feel that. I had extremely dark circles under my eyes, signaling kidney deficiency. My skin looked old. I was frequently ill, and my children had dental issues. Everything changed when we switched our water to alkalized, microplastic Kangen water. There is so much good science on the therapeutic effects of drinking electrolyzed, structured water that it made perfect sense why we experienced such a resurgence in health. I can testify to that even after 2 weeks. Like, Jesse himself was saying, Jesse drinks an enormous, like 5.5 liters a day. Jesse was drinking beforehand, and he was always thirsty. He'd come home from work, and the first thing he did is glug, glug, glug. He'd been glugging all day, and he was always thirsty. Jesse's always been very good with his water because he was born with kidney reflux as a baby, so his mum hammered it home to him how important his water was. However, he could never really fully be hydrated. He never felt it. He's not nearly drinking. He's drinking maybe 3 liters a day now, 3 or 4 liters a day. So it's already come down, but he's not coming home from work like glugging. He's not dehydrated. He's not getting the headaches that he was. He's not feeling dehydrated. He's actually feeling hydrated, he said, even the first time in his life. And so yeah, it's been absolutely incredible, and I just can't wait to see what else this machine and this water can do. And of course, it's not just for drinking. Thank you, Louise. So Kangen machines can replace 90% of your household products, including disinfectant. So a lot of these Japanese hospitals where the machine is there, they actually use the Kangen water to sterilize their opta just by changing its structure. So disinfectant, laundry soap, mouthwash, you can use it for gum disease. You can, rinse your mouth out with it. So no more. I hate mouthwashes, and I hate things with toothpaste with fluoride and that, because just when I talk about cannabis, I tell people to take it sublingually. Sublingually is the quickest way to get it into your blood, the quickest way to get it into your brain, and the quickest way to get an effect from it. Brushing your teeth twice a day for 2 minutes twice a day with fluoride toothpaste, fluoride is going directly to your brain. Sublingually, the quickest way to get these chemicals into your body is in through your mouth. And I always say to people, don't put anything on your skin that you would not put in your mouth, because our skin is so absorbent. So being able to swap chemicals, mouthwash and detergents and all of these household cleaners and degreasers and everything that goes on and around our bodies, what we put there is so incredibly important. I cannot stress that enough, and it's something that I always hammer home in my consultations with people, is that, you know, it's so important what goes in, on and around our bodies, and this machine really will clean up everything that goes in, on and around your body. So you can see how excited I am about this thing, right? So it's also good for the earth. So every year 8 million metric tons of plastic goes into the ocean, and I think that's just got worse over the last couple of years. I can't tell you the amount of face masks I've seen on the floor, and so it made me mad. So it's estimated that 150 million metric tons currently circulate our marine environments. Just think about that for a moment. Like, it's just horrendous what we're doing to the earth that we have to live in, and that water that's on our earth and the seas and things. If we destroy that, we are living in a muddy puddle, and we start living in a muddy puddle, we're in trouble, you know. So it's really important that we get on top of this. So plastic production and consumption are predicted to double. That makes me so sad. They are predicted to double over the next 10 years. So Kangen is a low waste product, eliminating 90% or more of your household products. I barely have any chemicals in my home as it is, but I do have a few. But once they're gone, they're gone. I'm not replacing. I'm not buying plastics no more. It's got to go. This machine has actually highlighted to me. It's made me look at my other plastic use as well, because I don't drink water out of plastic bottles, but I do have plastic in other places. So this machine really has kind of made me go, I need to be more on top of this. And so getting rid of the chemicals and the detergents and things like that is absolutely the next step. So yeah, it's made me wake up a lot more to my imprint. So Enagic, the company, pioneers in ionizers. They are a 48-year-old company, not 48 you're getting, so all parts multiple international certifications for quality, highest quality components to titanium and platinum, no cheap alloys, up to 5-year warranty, extended warranties available, and life cycle of machine is up to 30 years. Claire, I can perfectly clean it when you should clean it, service it when it needs servicing. You look after this machine, it can last you for 30 years plus. So yearly cleaning and maintenance for the life of the machine, and financing options are available, including 0% interest with no credit checks available in some countries. That was the clincher for me. That was what did it for me, was that we can get credit on this, and there's no credit checks. Amazing. So that's really what did it for us, is that, you know, all of this is well together, and there's no cheap parts. Like, it's not outsourced to China, so there's not parts that are going to fall apart any moment. Everything is made in-house. Everything is made in Okinawa, where the factory is, and everything's made under warranty, with the best quality parts and everything. So that was another thing that was a unique selling point for me, that just made me go, yes, I have to have this machine. Like, I have to. So much.
Oh, I think we lost you, Callie. Let me see if I can turn my mute. Can you guys see me? Let me know. Oh, you're back.
I can't see you.
You can't?
I'm back. Oh, when did you lose me? Oh no.
I think you were
What about?
You were good up until just a couple minutes ago.
Okay. All right then. I think we could maybe live with that. I was on fire then as well.
You still are. We're good. You still are. Yeah. And Vanessa commented that that they were like kind of like, yeah, just towards the end though. So we're good. So yeah, we're just
okay.
We're wrapping it up anyway. So we're good to go. I mean, if anyone has any questions, we're here for you. Other than that, like, that's pretty much it. Like, that was awesome. Thank you, Callie.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really enjoyed it. And it's something that, you know, like, as I said, I'm very conscious of the fact that at the moment on my social media, like all I'm talking about is the water with a little bit of other things thrown in. But if you met me back in 2017, all I ever talked about was cannabis. Cannabis, it's all I ever spoke about. And I am finding myself as equally as passionate about this, because this is just going to be life changing. I'm already feeling it. To see the thermography of, like, I was like, I know that hotspots are really good places for cancer to start coming in and things like that as well. So to see the actual difference was like, blew my mind again. And the same with cannabis. My mind is blown by cannabis on a weekly basis. I learn something new about it, and it still lights that fire in me. This machine and this water and what it can do, and what I'm hearing from other people who've experienced it, is doing the same thing for me inside as cannabis is. It's blowing my mind over and over and over again. So I'm like you. Once you see something that works and you feel the benefits and you understand the benefits, the same as I saw it with cannabis, you can't not tell everybody. You feel it as a moral obligation. Like, it's a moral obligation for me to tell you about this because it's working and I'm feeling it, and I feel so, and I want everybody to feel at their optimum health. And so, you know, when you find something that that works like this, you can't help but, you know, shout it from the rooftop. So I feel very blessed actually to have been able to experience this. Like, yeah, thank you.
That's awesome.
Good question.
Oh,
okay. So Wendy has.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go on. Wendy has a question. As a cannabis expert, do you think there is a benefit to growing medicine? Absolutely, Wendy. Oh, don't get me started, or maybe do get me started. When we first started looking into this machine, Jesse, because he knows how passionate I am about cannabis, and also how passionate my son is about growing it, and how important it is to have clean medicine. If you're growing cannabis and it's pumped full of herbicides and pesticides and all of these other things, then your medicine is not medicine, because it's tainted, it's poisonous, and so it's no longer medicine. It's really, really important that what we grow our plants and food and everything with is actually clean water. So there's a lot of growers over in California at the moment who've been using Kanga machines, fungicides, herbicides, pesticides, nutrients, cleaning, feeding them with, you know, the water. It's not just the water, but you can adjust the quality of the cannabis depending on the pH level of the water. My son was telling me, he's like, did you know that you can grow blue, red, purple or green weed depending on the pH levels? And I was like, you want one of these machines now, right? Because yeah, I want blue weed. I was like, okay. So it's I was like, well, I want one for your health more than anything. He was like, yeah, but I want blue weed. The priorities, son, priorities. But it's absolutely incredible to be able to see that, you know, we can really create very, very clean and organic, truly organic medicine. And I just want every grower in the world to have 1 or 10. I want them all to be growing with this, because it's so important that our medicine is medicine and not poison with the label of medicine over the top of it, which is what is a lot of cannabis, especially in the UK, because, you know, it's unregulated at the moment. There's a lot of medicine and it's not, it's you know, it's hidden, it's poison. And so it's really, really important that anybody who is growing cannabis really does get themselves one of these machines, so it can be truly organic and they can know that what they're taking into their body is absolutely clean and going to be optimum for their health and not actually making things worse. So thank you for your question, Wendy. Thank you.
Yes, that was a good question. Claire just brought up a good point. There's an interview that's happening in about 2 minutes over in the Congo Water Collective group from a holistic RN. So if anyone wants more about this water, head over to our Congo Water group right now. They are going to be using this Zoom, so we do have to hop off. But thank you so much, Callie, for all of your information. We're so blessed to get to hear from you. You are amazing. And I'm so excited that you have this water too, because I can just tell that you're going to help so many people. And that's just like, what a blessing that's going to be too. I mean, I'm glad that you guys are experiencing your own results, but imagine the people that you're going to help as well. And everybody watching this, you know, it's just amazing. Once you start drinking the water, you'll kind of turn into me and Callie, like you won't be able to stop. You're just like, oh my gosh. in a passionate way, like in a good way, you know? So,
oh yeah, it's always good.
So it's a good way. Yeah. So thank you guys for joining us. Anyone that has questions in the Facebook group, put them in the group. We'll come back and answer more questions, and go into the Kong Water Collective if you want a little bit more. Claire and Audra are going to be talking. She's a holistic RN, and they're going to be talking about how water holds memory, and they're going to talk about the fourth phase of water, all kinds of really good stuff. So so we'll hop off now, but hope everyone enjoys the rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.
You.
Bye.
Bye.